Hey, everybody sees the dream house on Smith Lake. The water, the views, the boats, the sunsets. But what people don't talk about enough is what it actually costs to own one of these places. And no, I'm not just talking about the mortgage. Hi, I'm Jacob Sanders, your local Smith Lake realtor. If you thought about buying or selling on Smith Lake, don't do anything without calling me first. I want to be your go-to for everything Smith Lake real estate. Jacob Sanders with eXp Realty here on Smith Lake, and today I'm going to walk through the real cost of owning a Smith Lake home in Alabama. And honestly, this video really isn't meant to scare anybody away, because if you ask most lake owners here, they'll tell you it's worth every penny. But if you are thinking about buying a lake house, there definitely are some things you should understand before you jump in, and really especially before your personality becomes boat shoes, floating maps, and weather apps. All right, let's start with the big one, the boat dock. Because when people picture owning on Smith Lake, the lake itself and the views are what they're imagining. But the boat docks, well, they're basically floating structures sitting in water year-round. And eventually stuff's going to happen. We may have storm damage. The floats may start leaking at some point. If you have wood decking on your dock, it's going to wear at some point. Your boat lifts are going to need some maintenance here and there. The electrical items are also going to need some maintenance. There's always going to be some cable adjustments you got to make. You know, the water is amazing for relaxing, but it's not always amazing for maintenance. Look, I've never met a dock owner that said, yep, everything's working perfectly forever. I've had buyers come out here and focus entirely on the house. Meanwhile, I'm over here looking at the dock like, man, that thing may need some attention real soon. Now, speaking of expensive floating objects, let's talk about boats. Here's the thing, you don't have to own a boat on Smith Lake, but eventually, you're probably going to want one. But just like that boat dock, you got some things to consider. As far as gas, you got maintenance, storage, where you're going to store your boat, how you're going to keep it clean, and who's going to do the winterizing in the wintertime. You're going to spend money on things you didn't even know existed. Like somehow everybody out here owns special ropes, special speakers, and special coolers. And y'all know I still don't understand why every lake cooler costs the same as a used Honda Civic. What's up with that? Some of y'all are going to convince yourself that boat gas really isn't that bad. Well, that is until Memorial Day weekend. Then you're going to think otherwise. Now, let's get into something that buyers usually don't think about until after closing. That's going to be the insurance and the weather. Now, lake homes have different insurance considerations than your average neighborhood house. So things you got to really consider are your waterfront exposure to your docks, to your deck, to your patios, also storms and the effect that storms can have on these things. Obviously your docks, the boats, and the second homes. Basically the lake is beautiful, but just so y'all know, Mother Nature does remind everybody occasionally who's actually in charge out here. And look, during big storms, people aren't checking their sports scores, checking the dock cameras. Now let's talk about the stairs and the landscaping. And one thing that surprises a lot of people here on the lake is how much terrain matters. Look, the views are incredible, but sometimes you got to earn that view. Some of these staircases feel like a full CrossFit workout. You're going to come down to the dock one time and realize, gosh, I should have stretched first. Let's talk about landscaping and the ongoing maintenance that you'll have to do with the landscaping. Things as cutting grass and weeds. Also dealing with erosion and what the water will do to your banks. So the maintenance on your landscaping and those steep lots where the landscaping can come really kind of challenging. Let's also not forget in the fall and wintertime, the leaf cleanup. There's a lot of leaves around Smith Lake. Now let's talk about the internet, the utilities, and lake life reality pretty much. This is not downtown Birmingham or Nashville. And honestly, that's part of the appeal. But depending on where you are on Smith Lake, the internet, the cell service, the utilities, and the septic systems can matter way more than buyers realize. Let me just tell you, there's nothing quite like trying to upload a file while staring at $1 million lake view. And really, you know what? And somehow the Wi-Fi still loses. But honestly, most people who buy on Smith Lake will tell you the exact same thing. Once you experience this lifestyle, it's really hard to go back. The mornings out here feel different, the weekends feel different, and the pace of life is different. And that's really what people are buying. Not just a house, not just a dock, but a whole new lifestyle. So look, if you're thinking about buying on Smith Lake and you want somebody to help you understand the lake, the areas, the lifestyle, and the real costs, look, reach out to me anytime. And if nothing else, at least come spend a weekend out here. I'm Jacob Sanders with eXp Realty. I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call.